Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You are watching the Paris Fintech Forum Communities video interview series. I'm Elliott Gotkine, and today I'm joined by Majorel's CEO for Germany and Eastern Europe, Oliver Carlsen. Great to have you with us.
Hello, hi.
Okay, so look, before we get cracking, Oliver, we're going to learn a little bit more about Majorel. Okay, so tell us more about Majorel and your role in the fintech and financial ecosystem.
Absolutely. But first of all, thanks, Elliot, for having us on this show. It's really a pleasure to be here and talking to you again after our panel discussion we had last year. But maybe now coming to Majorel in a nutshell, I would say. So we design, build, and deliver end-to-end customer experience solutions for many of the world's most respected brands. And what does it mean? Really, we have a deep expertise in tech-augmented front and back office solutions. And additionally, we are a global leader in content, services, trust, and safety. We have a team focusing on CX consulting, and we have an innovative suite of proprietary digital solutions, especially for verticals like banks and insurance. And we do this across 36 countries in 5 continents. And maybe for as a very, I would say, add-on for this audience, we have a special solution focusing only on startups and fintechs. And this special solution, this special team called Matchup, which making sure that really they offer an easy access to scalable customer experience. And maybe finally, if you allow maybe a few KPIs about Majorel, we have about 73,000 team members. We speak more than 60 languages, and we have basically more than 400 clients across the globe. So that's us. That's Majorel.
Okay, well, that's one of my other questions out the window. But the next thing I wanted to ask you, Oliver, was that last year Majorel held its IPO on the Amsterdam Stock Exchange. The markets haven't exactly been kind since then. Are you glad you did it then, or in hindsight, would it have been better to wait?
No, absolutely. So it was for us, really, to be honest, was the right timing, and it was a really, I would say, a great experience over the last 12 months for me personally. So I learned a lot, to be honest, to be part of an IPO, right, and to be really working on it from a regulatory perspective, from a company perspective. But at the same time, I have to say, of course, it's now really interesting to be part of the global leadership team of a listed company. So therefore, I would say for us as a company, it definitely was the right step. We are much more transparent now. We are much more on the market now. We are there's a higher awareness of us as a brand, as a company. So therefore, no, we truly believe that was the right step, and we feel very comfortable. Beside, of course, let's say the development. But I think this is really, you see the market trends, and we are, let's say, hitting or let's say be better at the market trends. So therefore, I truly feel comfortable that we can convince the analysts about our strengths.
Right, and I know that I kind of asked you this question when we spoke last year on the panel discussion, but so much has happened in the past 12 months, not least inflation, interest rates, Russia's invasion of Ukraine, slowdown in China, fears of recession and everything else. Majorel, I know you don't like the characterization, has been around a while. So obviously you've had to move with the times and become so much more technologically minded and data and analytics focused. What trends are you seeing with your customers, I guess, from before the pandemic, during the pandemic, and now as we are in this kind of, let's say, uncertain period, economically speaking?
Well, I would say what we have definitely have seen is, and maybe let's say, so first of all, I would say when I see all these trends you just mentioned, to be honest, for us as a company, I would say some of them are really giving us some opportunities because we are always a very strong partner for our clients and for, let's say, our partners, right? And therefore, especially in times where they are a little bit under pressure with their cost levels, with their products, with their kind of development across the globe, we are really a strong partner for them to supporting them in the way how they communicate with their clients, right? So therefore, I think it's really something where we are very close to our clients and to our partners. But when I look at the trends, and you asked specifically for some of the trends, so to me, really the customer service has become, of course, much more customer centric. I think it's, products became more interchangeable. So therefore, a great customer experience and a great customer service is definitely a differentiating factor in many of the industries. So therefore, really working with us as a partner to making sure that this runs well is an important factor, and we see a much higher focus in our clients. But at the same time, we definitely see there's a lot of cost pressure. So that means it's like automating and streamlining really the processes to making sure that your cost level is on the right level is something which is, of course, gained much more importance. So therefore, streamlining, automating processes is on the top of the list of priorities of our clients as well. Cross and upsell, to be honest, yeah. So we see some kind of development over there, because before, customer service used to be a kind of cost center, but it gained a little bit more into a kind of profit center, to making sure that the customer interaction you have really are valuable for you as a client, as the end client, but you as a company as well. So therefore, definitely cross and upsell is getting more traction at the moment. Again, a little bit back on the, let's say, cost level, I would say near and offshoring is a trend we see. So traditional banks and traditional insurance typically intend to do their business onshore. But with all the developments you just mentioned, with all this kind of cost pressure really on most of our clients, near and offshoring became an option we discuss quite heavily at the moment. And something which is new to us as well is that our clients intend to outsource a bit more complex processes. So typically, maybe when you compare this to maybe 5 years ago or 10 years ago, now the level of complexity, the level of end-to-end solutions we can offer for our clients gained really, I would say, traction. And therefore, I would say, so main trends to me are really, let's say, more automation, more customer centricity, cross and upsell, nearshoring, more complex tasks. And finally, that's basically, I think you can see this from your behavior, from our behavior as well. I think we see more channels stepping in, which means is clients behave in a different way and want to communicate in a different way with the companies. So therefore, really we see an extended level of channels stepping in, which on the other hand, of course, again, help, of course, to automate, again, further processes, because especially if people intend to write an email or write a chat, that's something it's easier to automate than, of course, than a voice call.
Okay. So look, we've heard plenty about Majorel now, so let's get to know Oliver a little bit better. Okay, so Oliver, you studied business administration with a focus on hotel management. Was the plan to be a hotelier? And if so, what went wrong?
Oh, well, well, maybe it will come in the future again. Huh? So no, actually the idea was really, I love to work in a service industry, and I really love to be working in a hotel, and love to be a hotel manager. But if you compare, for example, the CX company and the hotel management, it's more or less the same, to be honest. Yeah? So it's really about, to my mind, it's about catering people's needs and provide great experience. And that's what we do with Majorel every day. So therefore, I don't think it was really that something went wrong and went just in a different direction. So no, just kidding. It's like after I really did my study, of course, I joined the predecessor of Majorel back in 1999. And I have to say that it was never boring. So therefore, I stayed for more than 20 years now.
I was going to ask you, Oliver, it's more than 20 years at a company. That's not so common these days. You are still relatively young. I know you said it's never boring, so you stay there. But I mean, you must have other personal, professional goals, or are they all within Majorel, kind of like perhaps being the overall CEO one day, or with no disrespect to the current overall CEO, or do you have ambitions to maybe set something up yourself?
No, it's like it always, I would say, happened naturally during that time, I would say. So therefore, it was really it was a natural journey we made together. So Majorel at that time, so it wasn't Majorel at that time, but it was a predecessor of Majorel. And for me, as I said, it's never been boring, because I started as an account manager, being responsible for a global credit card company. Then later on become responsible for all of BFSI clients in Germany, and now being the CEO of Germany and Eastern Europe and heading up our global banking practice. So it never became really boring. But again, when I look at the future, so you never know, right? Maybe I will step back to the hotel again.
And just finally, Oliver, I think last time we spoke, you said you've got 2 teenage kids.
Yes.
I mean, mine are a bit smaller. I guess they always present different challenges at different ages. So what keeps you on your toes more, Majorel or the teenagers?
That's a good question. I would say it's like both of them, to be honest. So at some point, of course, it's like Majorel, but when kids getting older, you have different topics to discuss, and it's getting very interesting. No, but I love the kids, of course, pretty much, and it's really so. Pandemic gave me a chance, to be honest. With all the challenges we had during the pandemic, at least the pandemic gave me the chance to be closer to the kids for the last 2 years and really see them growing, right from, let's say, more on the being in the 10s, now being, let's say, really in the kind of teenager age of 16. So it's definitely was a great journey to see them growing. But at the same time, of course, now it's like I'm happy to travel again more and leave the kids a little bit alone. Let's make them their stuff, and I can focus back on Majorel and really on the network and on the sites and the great people we have there. Just for example, just like Monday, Tuesday, I was in Romania to visit our site there.
Okay, and just very, very briefly, Oliver, my team, Tottenham, just got into the Champions League. I know you were celebrating your team getting promoted. Well, what's your team in Germany?
Oh, my team is Werder Bremen, and thanks for asking.
Werder Bremen.
And,
okay.
Very well
so,
research.
Good. Congratulations to Werder Bremen. We have to move on, though, because a key part of this interview is to get your take on the future of finance. But first, we are going to take a very quick break, after which we're going to continue our conversation with Majorel's CEO for Germany and Eastern Europe, Oliver Carlsen. Welcome back, and don't forget, if you're not already a full member of our community, everything you need to join can be found at www.parisfintechforum.com. And now, Oliver, let's talk about the future of finance. Now, Apple, Amazon, Klarna, they've all grown to dominate their respective fields, not just because of what they offered, but because of the user experience their customers received. How important is this in the world of banking and finance? And are there any fintechs or financial services firms that still don't get it?
Well, I think it's like customer centricity and really customer service and CX service is really, it became, as I said before, really a big differentiator in the world of so many products and so many solutions. So yes, I would say the big giants you just mentioned definitely are the ones who understood that customer centricity is really a game changer for them. So you really need to understand your client, right? And you have to be much more centric on them, just to offer individual products, for example, to really understand their needs, to react at the same time they want, to use the channel they prefer. So therefore, I believe, especially in the world of more traditional banking and traditional insurance, there's definitely more to come in the future, I would say. But overall, to my mind, of course, especially the giant you just mentioned, really making sure that the client is in the middle of the product and in the middle of the communication, and everything else is worked around them. So therefore, yes, definitely, I would say there's something banks and insurance could learn from it.
Right. And is this all, I mean, obviously it's all about the customer, but in order to make it all about the customer, it's presumably also about the data, about the design, about the technology. I mean, which of these are of more importance, or do you just have to kind of, move forward with all three of them?
Definitely all three of them, right? So it's definitely, it's really about, you need them all, yeah? So you need, of course, the data to know your customer. You need, let's say, the data to make tailor-made customer journeys. You need your data to make individual offers, right? So there's no doubt about that you need the data. you need the expertise to design optimized processes. So it's again, like that's one of our core businesses, CX consulting. So for sure, you have to make sure that the whole process is designed in the way your clients really appreciated it. So, and in the end, you need the technology. So therefore, I would not prioritize one of them. I would say you definitely need data, design, and technology to make sure that your product is great, yeah? And that you really have something which is so special that keeps people alive and keeps people really like focusing on your product. Right? So therefore, no, it's there's no priority. I would say it's definitely all of them.
And when we spoke last year, one of the people on our panel said that their aim, I think, was hardcore fun for customers, which
Yes.
I think you kind of quite liked. But in finance, presumably that can be a problem, can't it? Because, you know, if it's so much fun, it might encourage you to, for example, spend your entire day trading stocks because it's so much fun, and then you end up losing all your money. So I mean, does there have to be a balance? Does a kind of a bit of not fun need to be baked in as well for the customer?
Well, so the client communication doesn't automatically mean fun. Yeah, to me, it means like that you have well-trained agent, that you have people who are empowered, that you have people who are empathetic about your needs, right? So to my mind, I would say it's not about fun. It's really about, let's say, the human touch in the communication, which makes a difference. And when you streamline your process, then you can do that, right? And you should do that, of course. I think there's so many opportunities out there, and your digital natives will basically love it. But for sure, and you know that, and I know that, and all of us know that there are moments of truth, right? There are moments of where you would like to talk to somebody who understands your problem. And that's really where our teammates come into play, where I believe that it's really about understanding really from a human point of view your problem and solve this query. So therefore, I would say it's not only about having pure fun, especially not in the finance environment. It's really about being empathetic and understanding the needs in a very, very digital way, of course, but at the time where you need it, where you really think that's the moment I have to jump in, I have to make sure we can make a difference from a company perspective. That's the moment where I believe you should really offer human interaction. And then for sure, it could be fun, you know, if the client and if the let's say the counterpart is appreciating that. But it should be really well trained, empowered, and empathetic, I would say.
And I suppose the most obvious example of the human touch in banking, at least in finance, is the bank branch. Since we're talking about the future of finance, what role, if any, do you see the bank branch playing in the years ahead? Are bank branches toast?
No. I don't think so, right? So I know that everybody of us really liked I would say the momentum and the gain of the momentum during the pandemic, that online banking, telephone banking became more so powerful, right? Everybody of us really gets so used to let's say do all of this kind of services you need from a bank, let's say not in a branch. You do it really like with online, right? Or you do it via your app, or you do it via phone. But I think there are elements where we still want to talk to a person, where we want to sit next to somebody, and where we would like to really have somebody face to face. So therefore, I would say we will not see so many branches anymore, but we will definitely see branches to make sure that some clients probably do not prefer this kind of online way. And I would say at some point you need somebody you trust, right? And you should go there, and you should, let's say, sit next to somebody. So to my mind, I would say, yes, we see less of them, but some of them will definitely be there to cater at least some of your needs you cannot probably fulfill via video or via call. I definitely think so.
Right. And of course, some companies like, you know, the tech titans of Amazon, Apple, and others have very deep pockets and a great customer experience. As they inch further into financial services, should fintechs and banks be prepared for, I don't know, a rude awakening or a reckoning of some sort?
So what we definitely see, and of course that's pretty clear, we see this kind of rise of super apps, yeah, where you have really everything embedded, and therefore I would say be very careful. So let's say the Amazons and of course the PayPals of the world doing so well at the moment, and doing really understanding, of course, all of the needs, not only like in the way of Amazon, like from an e-commerce perspective, from so many different point of views. So therefore, I would say definitely You should be really awake and see what's going on in the market. But to my mind, we will definitely see as well some kind of super apps which will, let's say, allow us to do much more than just like a payment or let's say just like an account switch. It will definitely be a kind of embedded full end-to-end customer journey into different items. So therefore, no, I definitely would think so that they will gain further traction, definitely.
Okay, Oliver, so look, it's time now for our rapid fire round of questions. Are you ready?
Yes, sure.
Great. So we've got 90 seconds. One-word answers is ideal, and that way we can get through as many as possible. So I'm going to start my clock. I'm going to start with the first question. So most successful fintechs are very well funded but don't make a lot of money. Should this be expected or should we worry about this?
No, that should be expected.
What fintech or financial segment has the biggest potential over the next 5 years?
Crypto.
What is the biggest pain point in your everyday financial life that you would like to see resolved?
Client communication.
Are we at the beginning, middle, or end of the fintech wave?
At the beginning.
Do you have a metaverse strategy?
Yes, we do.
Have EU and US regulations kept pace with the new possibilities and behaviors we're seeing in the financial industry?
No.
How would you describe non-fungible tokens, NFTs? Are they A, a scam, B, an interesting concept, or C, part of the future that we really don't want to miss out on?
C, I would say. C.
Have you ever invested in crypto?
Yes.
Are physical points of sales part of the future of finance?
Yes.
On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 the most, 1 is the least, how likely is the following to happen in the next 10 years? One of the neobanks will be as profitable as a top-tier legacy bank.
A 5.
5. You'll be able to open a crypto account at a top-tier bank or in parallel with a classic cash account?
A classic cash account.
Okay, we are out of time as my clock is telling me. So thanks for being a good sport there, Oliver. But I'm afraid we are out of time overall as well. So really just want to thank you, Majorel's CEO for Germany and Eastern Europe, Oliver Carlsen, for joining me today. Thank you.
Thank you, Elliott, for having me. It was really a pleasure to be here and looking forward to meet you all hopefully next year.
Likewise, and for those of you watching, we'll be back again next week with another big name from the world of finance and technology. We do hope you'll be able to join us again then. In the meantime, you can subscribe to the Paris Fintech Forum YouTube channel or follow us on Twitter at Paris Fin Forum. That's all for now. See you next time. Bye-bye.